China seeks to influence American agriculture. A roundtable hosted U.S. officials and has ties to China and Bill Gates. We break down what is going on in the heartlands of America. I then spoke with Peter Rao on the state of the Europe-China relations. Following a virtual meeting between the European leaders and Chinese President Xi Jinping, what is the relationship like for the two sides? And how has China attempted to weaponize the EU-US relationship to their benefit in the past? Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. Bill Gates, the Chinese government, and US officials. What are these groups cooking up? Well, recently, a number of US government officials attended a virtual agricultural event co-hosted by a Beijing-backed influence association that has ties to Bill Gates. The US Heartland China Association is a 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2003. They held the 2022 US-China Agricultural Roundtable. In 2016, a spy from China stole patented corn seeds from American farmers. Will these US Heartland China events facilitate more agricultural exchange, and if so, can they guarantee the US won't be stolen from? I think this event serves a bigger purpose than just that, though. Also co-hosting the event was the Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries, or CPA-FFC. And it turns out former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had warned about this group, calling them, quote, the public face of the Chinese Communist Party's official foreign influence agency, the United Front Work Department. United Front is a term to describe these organizations that have tied heavily to the CCP and have worked to build relations with the United States on all side and all front, to serve the interest, of course, of the Chinese regime. CPA-FFC is tasked with co-opting subnational governments and has thought to directly and malignly influence state and local leaders to promote the PRC's People's Republic of China's global agenda. Why did Oklahoma Secretary of Agriculture Blaine Arthur, Kansas Secretary of Agriculture Mike Beam, Missouri Director of Agriculture Chris Chin, Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig, and Representative Darren LaHood all attend this event? The National Pulse reports CPA-FFC President Lin Songtian addressed the event, sharing how he, quote, hoped that China and the United States would take this forum as an opportunity to communicate frankly and find the potential for mutually beneficial cooperation in the fields of agricultural import and export, cross-border e-commerce, green agriculture, agricultural science and technology innovation, and deepen mutual cooperation and mutual trust. In what the Chinese regime calls a win-win cooperation. That is, both parties are promised to get something out of it. But when you realize that this event is held at a time where American farmlands are increasingly bought over the past decade by China to the point where a Republican congressman is introducing a bill to stop it, this whole event suddenly has a different taste to the attendance of American government officials. As well, Bill Gates has also been a major buyer of agricultural land in the United States as well. Land Report reported that Gates was the largest U.S. private farmland owner in January of 2021, saying his family had accumulated an estimated 242,000 acres of farmland. Microsoft founder Bill Gates has worked with CPA-FFC over the years, actually, in particular with the association's previous president, Li Xiaolin, who held the position from September 2011 to April of 2020. Li is no ordinary Chinese citizen. She was a former member of the Chinese regime's political advisory body and the daughter of a former regime leader. Gates and Li met face-to-face during the 2013 Global Vaccine Summit in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. According to CPA-FFC's website, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation invited Li to the summit, during which she took part in a panel speaking about China's immunization efforts to eradicate polio. And in August 2013, the foundation announced that it would invest $5 million to support Chinese investigators to drive researcher development and production of the next generation toilet as part of the global Reinvent the Toilet Challenge. And Gates also visited CPA-FFC's headquarters in China in June of 2014, during which he gave a speech titled Invent for the Poor. According to a video on CPA-FFC's website, Gates praised the Chinese regime and the association in his speech. Melinda Gates, ex-wife of Bill and co-chair of the foundation, held a meeting with Li in China in July of 2017. According to the website of CPA-FFC, French Gates praised CPA-FFC for its philanthropic works, and she also invited Li to join the End Malaria Council, which is an initiative launched in part by Gates in 2017. And Gates and Li also have connections through another United Front agency, the Hong Kong-based China-United States Exchange Foundation, or CUSEF, which is managed by CPA-FFC as well. Now, CUSEF is headed by Chinese regime official Tang Chihua, who is a former Hong Kong leader and current vice chairman of the CPPCC. Now, the history with the CPA-FFC, which was established in 1954, has more than 300 local branches throughout China. Outside of the Chinese borders, there are also regional-level branches such as the Chinese Arab Friendship Association, as well as the country-level branches such as the China-U.S. People's Friendship Association in the United States. And the current CPA-FFC president is Ling Songtian, the one who gave a speech about the so-called win-win cooperation at the agricultural event in April. He actually began the role in April 2020. Before then, he had been China's ambassador to South Africa since 2017. When Lin was in Africa, he was an outspoken critic of the United States on Twitter. Lin had been a prominent Twitter talking head spewing Chinese communist propaganda, shifting the blame of COVID to the United States. And Lin also in Twitter took part defending the communist regime's policies targeting ethnic minorities in the far western region of Xinjiang. In June 2020, Representative Michael McCall in Texas released an interim report on the origins of COVID-19, and the report criticized the Chinese regime, saying that the pandemic, quote, could have been prevented if Chinese officials had responded to the initial outbreaks in a, quote, transparent and responsible manner. A month later, Lin wrote on Twitter that the interim report was intended to, quote, shift blames and cover the delinquency of the #Trump administration. So to have Lin chair a so-called friendly engagement event with the United States and China seems rather ironic, given his outspoken criticisms against the United States. And plus, if we think about the farmland situation, why is it the United States is still allowing China to buy up all of its farmlands? To watch our full episode, join us on epochtv. The China threat is real, and our show seeks to expose it. But we cannot do so if big tech is unwilling to spread our words and suppresses our reach. That is why epochtv was created, where truth and freedom from censorship thrive. You will find our full episodes on epochtv, as well as investigative documentaries and a variety of programs. Join us now with the link in the description below for just $1. See you there.